Lovely, good evening Zambia, good evening Africa, and warm welcome to the bigger program right here on KBN TV from Zambia's capital city Lusaka with me, Innocent Piri. You can simply call me IP. Zambians continues to mourn the demise of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, and today, the 5th of November, clocks exactly 5 months from the time ECL died. Now, ECL's remains has not yet been buried due to the ongoing misunderstanding, and of course we've been told that there are some negotiations that's according to the Zambian government, while the spokesperson in Makebi Zulu says so far nothing seems to be happening between the two parties. I have in the studio a man who is seemed to be quite controversial in the Republic of Zambia, in the name of Binwell Mpundu, independent member of parliament for Nkana constituency. He was a few days ago, rather yesterday, evicted from the National Assembly for his continued misconduct. He joins me on set. Good evening.
Why such introduction, Naifi? Good evening to you. How are you doing?
I'm well.
It's good to see you.
How are you?
I'm very well. Very well. It's good to be back here. It's been a long time.
Thank you so much, and welcome to KBN TV and the bigger program.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. We'll look at the snapshot of the former head of state, and of course the memories that he left in your minds and that of the continent of Africa. Let's watch these two snapshots.
Louder.
Behind you because you are a principled man. Now I want you to tell me why people should vote for you as president for another 5 years. Mr. President, can you tell the electorate what you are going to do for them?
Firstly, you have to know that I'm a firm believer in credibility. I want my words to be my bond between the people of Zambia and myself. What I say is what I do. And what I do is what the people accepted would do for them. When we became government in 2011, we had a manifesto, we had a vision. We wanted to take Zambia to a certain place. And I think that's where we are on this journey. So the reason why Zambians should vote for me is because we are on the journey. And so far we have started accomplishing some of the programs we set for ourselves for them. We're implementing them. The manifesto here contains what we have done and what we are going to do. So I'll make sure that we implement what we promised the people of Zambia. We continue on the same trajectory. So if you want to know more, you can read our manifesto because it's cross-cutting and it wants to leave no one behind. So what I want to do for the people of Zambia is what is contained in the party vision.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Have you distributed the manifesto to everyone?
Yeah.
Thank you. But the common Zambian out there, has he or she got the manifesto?
Now we are trying to get a bit of resources to get some people who are good in local languages to translate this into the major languages, so that Zambians are able to see and read for themselves what we have done from where we started and where we are going. And I think this vision is common to all PF party members. What is important is continuity. Where Mr. Sata left, I've continued. Where I will live in 2026, and others in the party will continue. But this is the covenant between the people of Zambia and ourselves.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Other than what you have said, what is it that you have done you can point at? Because I remember in the last campaigns, you've been singing about Sontapo. What is it that you are going to point at this time around for people to have confidence in you and vote for you?
Agriculture. For example, where we started from and where we are. Statistics are there to speak for themselves. Last year we were 3 million, is it 400, 3 million, 300? Oh, we are now at 3.6, a growth of 7% in terms of maize production. Soya beans, you name it, it's there. So, in law we say, recips are loquita. Facts speak for themselves, things speak for themselves. So, Zambians are there to see, and we are here to remind those who can't see. And at the end of the day, we'll vote. And I'm sure Zambians appreciate what is being done for them. Change in their lives can be felt. So I have no doubt that they'll give us even a bigger mandate this time than what we got 50 plus.
I like your confidence, Mr. President. Thank you very much for having spared your precious time to talk to me. I wish you all the best. God bless you. Thank you. This has been...
Thank you so much. Welcome back to the bigger program right here on KBN TV. And may the souls of the former head of state continue resting in peace. Honorable Mpundu is my guest on the program. Ghana Member of Parliament, welcome and good evening to you.
Good evening to you, IP. Good evening to those that may be joining us this evening.
Your quick memories about the matter at hand, the mortal remains of Iseo. We are talking about 5 months from the time he died, and his body, or rather his mortal remains, has not yet been buried.
Very sad situation, IP. You know that I shared quite in a very unique and special relationship with the late president, whereas many could not recognize potential in some of us. He gave us an opportunity at leadership. I was given an opportunity to serve the people of Kitwe as district commissioner at, I think, arguably a very tender age. Something that was not easy to do for a leader, because if you look at Kitwe, Kitwe is a very special community in the history of Zambia, in the politics of Zambia, in the governance of Zambia. And so to be entrusted with that huge responsibility meant so much in terms of the confidence that President Lungu had in our abilities. And I think this is a man that walked the talk in as far as grooming the next generation of leaders. And so I will eternally be grateful for that opportunity he gave me. And so it breaks my heart to see a man that served this country for so long be in a mortuary or in a morgue for 5 months. Why is he in that mortuary? Because of ego, people's ego. Because I don't understand why, and I've always said this from day one, I don't understand why people would want to insist they needed to, take charge of the burial procession of the late president. There is no law in this land that dictates that the president must be buried by the state. There's only been procedures. Now, you cannot be that a hypocrite people, or hypocritical people, that you want to insist on procedures when it comes to these other issues, but you fail to abide to procedures when it comes to other issues. I laugh at the UPND when they insist on procedures. Yeah. You insist that procedural, the president must be buried at Embassy Park. Is it Embassy Park, right?
Yes.
But yes. Procedural, you have refused for the president to live in Nkwazi. Okay? It doesn't make sense that in one hand you want to insist on procedure, on the other hand you don't want procedure to dictate where the president must live. You don't want procedure to dictate that the president must declare his assets. Now the two are different, but I'm just basically trying to bring for you to understand that, number one, there's no law that dictates that the president must be buried. If the family wishes otherwise, in which case the family was very willing, except as it were, the final say about what should happen to a dead person is dictated to by the family. But if really you have love and you would want this matter put to rest, the government should have at least given in to some of the demands that were made by the family. In any case, at some point the family and the government had arrived at some agreement. Only God knows why government decided to change. You also, we as members of parliament, going to the airport to wait for the remains to arrive, only to be told that the family will not bring the body because government has walked away from the agreement. So this blame is squarely on government because of the dishonesty. I know that the UPND government is a very dishonest government. It's a very deceptive government. From the word go, they were elected because of deception or through deception. They continue to deceive people. They continue to lie and act unhonorable all throughout. It's very sad that we have a man in the morgue, a man that we should have buried by now.
Without being one-sided, can we also blame the family or the Isiao family, the wife, the children, and everybody else around that, around the mortal remains of Isiao? Because in as much as, of course, you are trying to justify that the problem here has been the government from inception. But again, others will tell you that the problem also is not only the government, but also, let's talk about the family members who decided to hold on to the body up to this particular time. When you listen or read the judgment, of course, from the Pretoria High Court, of course, which came out, the Zambian government advanced an argument that there is a precedence here. The KK precedence or the Kaweche Kaunda precedence, and the precedence will always make a law at the end of the day. So they followed that. Say, look, a former head of state will always be taken charge of by the sitting government. More ways that Isiao was a president of this country.
IP. There's nothing difficult about the situation of the late president. The demands of the families were put on the table. The aspirations of government were put on the table. The question is, who walked away from the agreement? It is government. Okay? So who should we blame? We have to blame government. We further have to blame government because they decided now to go to court. Who does that? Honestly, a grieving family, you claim to love this man, you claim you want to give him a dignified burial, but you drag the family to court. I was questioning this statement in the speech of the president when he was addressing Parliament when it happened, where he was saying, we'll pray for the family, we are standing with them. I don't think that you can say you are standing with a family that you dragged to court. So you can see, honestly speaking, yes, the family may have their misgivings or faults, but clearly it doesn't make sense that a government would drag the owners of the body to court. If it was the family dragging government to court, it is a different ballgame, like the Kaunda case. It's a family that dragged the government to court. In this case, the government is dragging the family to court. How? Honestly speaking, there's no law. There's only a precedence, or there's only, let me say, a procedure, okay, which can actually be set aside to give way to meet the aspirations, in which case that was done in the initial. It is government that walked out of that, initial agreement. So government should take the blame, and I think that it's not too late, even though it's late, but they still can do what is right. Send a representative to the family and ask for their demands to be made, and do exactly that. Who stands to lose? We the people are losing, the people of Zambia, because we would have loved that man to be buried with, on the Zambian soil. But because of ego and pride, here we are, 5 months down the line. We are a laughing stock in the region.
You've been in government, you yourself, so you understand very well government procedures. Sometimes the government will fight or will take certain matters to court in the best interest of the majority Zambians or citizens of that particular country. So it is what the government perhaps did to drag the Isiao family to court in order to preserve the interest of the many Zambians who would have wanted or would want to ensure that Isiao is buried back home. That's my number one question. My second question to that, I want to appeal to your conscience as a vibrant leader in this country, Binwell Mpundu. Would you love to see the former president being buried in a foreign land as it was supposed to be, according to the family members, who wanted to bury the mortal remains of ECL in South Africa.
It is very regrettable. It's not necessary. It's uncalled for that government, in the name of public interest, should drag a grieving family to court. You cannot be that, double standard people who would insist you love me and I die, you want to drag my family to court, a family that is grieving. It's unacceptable. It's culturally wrong, morally wrong. It is un-Zambian, and I think that there's no ethics in trying to drive that agenda. Would I want the late president to be buried in a foreign land? No. I would love the president to be buried here. But what I can never do is to advocate that we put aside the demands of the family. I can never do that. It's not leadership. I think in the time of a person's demise, we respect the wishes of the family anywhere and everywhere. So this whole thing can best be handled if we put aside pride, if we put aside arrogance, if we put aside hatred. Because it's what would drive somebody to take the grieving family cannot be more than hatred for that family. Simple. Your friends are grieving. They've been grieving for 5 months. And look at all the activities that have ensued after the death of the president. You have cadres insulting the man in death. You have cadres insulting. In fact, I want to believe those cadres have been unleashed by the party leadership, because at some point, abhorring statements have been made by senior members of the UPND, literally to drag the dead man into all manner of insults and the like. Would we then stand here or sit here and say UPND had love for the late president, or have the interest of the late president at heart? No. You cannot be a people that profess love on one hand, but the next moment you are unleashing all manner of insults. I think, in all fairness, the UPND don't mean well in this matter. By the way, you know they've been prepared through Parliament to take away Tasila's seat, a lady that is grieving the father who's not yet been buried. You institute a procedure to take away a parliamentary seat, yet you are even aware you are the ones who have delayed the burial. Hypocrisy of the highest order is what we are witnessing here.
That's what you believe in?
I do. It's unethical, it's inhuman, spiritually, morally not right for government to continue dragging this matter. I think that the family has shown that they were willing. If only government did the right thing, we would not be having this conversation today.
All right, Honorable Mpundu, let us watch some of the videos together with the viewers out there. Then we look at other matters. Let's have these videos, Director.
A point of order.
Madam Speaker, it's not my intention that I engage you, but on the floor, in this house, the standards and procedures of this house. You can't allow me to engage the speaker. Order. Who do you think you are?
Order.
Who do you think you are?
Order.
Order.
Order, Honorable Member Fonkana. Order. No honorable member is allowed at any time to engage a presiding officer. So you cannot say you want to engage me or I should not engage you. I'm giving guidance. My role here is to give guidance. And once you are given guidance, you follow. Do not bring things that are outside that guidance. If that issue we are trying to raise is how you are raising it, then please find another way to...
Order,
honorable members.
What are you Iwe ya take punch na wote ambi molu. Utakonka nyepo na iwe. What's your problem?
Madam Speaker, on a right note, since I came in 2021, I've never seen or witnessed any member from your right to be suspended. That is just on a right note.
Order. Honorable member for order. Honorable member for Hakainde, you are treading on dangerous waters. Because by just that statement, you are already impugning on the impartiality of presiding officers. Let's be serious. As I always say, honorable members, the young people, the old people, the members of the public, the people that we represent are watching us and following what we are doing. Whatever we say, they take it as gospel truth. So let's take responsibility, and when we stand to debate any issue, let us be factual. And the honorable member for Hakainde, I'm sure you know the reason why none of the members have been suspended from my right. When they are told, please stop, they do that. Honorable member for Hakainde may proceed after that.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. The matter I wish to raise, Madam Speaker, is directed at the Minister of Justice. Since the Minister of Justice is not around, Madam Speaker, I will direct it to our honor, the Vice President. Madam Speaker, upholding and respecting the Constitution is a shared responsibility amongst all the...
Right, so Honorable Member of Parliament, when you listen to some of the videos from playing there, and you were suspended subsequently by the Speaker of the National Assembly for more than 30 days. It's been 28 hours from the time, or 24 hours rather, from the time you were suspended. What have you picked from there? Maybe my direct question would be, why have you been causing trouble in Parliament? What has been going on with you?
IP, I'm being suspended for the second time. I think in a space of 2 months, if not 3 months. The question is, why am I being suspended? Why was I suspended in the first place? Okay, I'll give you an account and I want you to follow me very right. The last time I was suspended out of Parliament, we were discussing the borrowing plan. The day before discussing the borrowing plan, I rose to disapprove the intention of government to borrow. In my submission, I was wondering, could it be that the borrowing of the UPND was motivated by some commissions that people were getting out of the borrowing? You know, I was scolded at for suggesting there's underhand methods of corruption involved in the borrowing. Interestingly, the following day when we now were discussing the borrowing plan, in the borrowing plan was a commission, which they called the facilitation fee of a 1%. We were borrowing $1.5 billion, and there was a facilitation fee of 1%. Now,
Facilitating who?
Facilitating the borrowing.
Right.
So somebody was getting away with a 1% for facilitating the money to be borrowed. Now, of course, the bankers and in the financial things, they will tell you that money goes to a bank. It's called facilitation. They have to facilitate for you to borrow the money. But it is a cost to government. On top of $1.5 billion, you pay a 1%, or within that 1.5 billion, they will deduct 1% that goes, whether it is to an individual or to government. Now, when we are having this conversation, a member of Parliament from the UPND took the floor and started to unleash unparatables at me. I stood up to raise a point of order. The speaker ignored me.
I want us to be very specific. What were those words used against you?
Well, basically they were demeaning words in which they were
Such
saying,
as?
I am I'm unreasonable, I am ignorant, all manner of statements. You cannot refer to a fellow member of parliament to be ignorant, to be unreasonable and all that. But that is what the member of parliament from Zambezi East, lashed out at me. I stood up to raise a point of order. I was ignored by the speaker. When I sat down, I was literally complaining to the speaker from my chair, which she then says I was being unruly because I was debating from my chair. Now, debating from the chair is a normal practice in parliament. We heckle from the chair, we speak, in fact, you hear people say, yeah. So debating from the chair is you making sounds while you are seated, whether it's yeah, whether it's any form of sound that you make, order or whatever you say. They'll say you are debating from the chair. So the speaker then took a turn to admonish me, saying I was becoming unreasonable because I was debating from the chair. Now, what is she was talking to me? This is Madam Attractor, the first deputy speaker. What is she was talking to me? I was looking at her, she's admonishing me. The member of parliament who was sitting on the left, Honorable Katuta, signaled to me wanting to speak to me. So when I tend to look at Honorable Katuta, the speaker gets offended that she's talking to me. I tend my head to look at Honorable Katuta. And for just that gesture of looking at Honorable Katuta, she says I'm being unrepentant, and so I must be sent out. And she sent me out for 7 days, which went into 7 days, or rather 14 days, because of she didn't count for the breaks and all that, the holidays and all that. Imagine being sent out or being suspended for simply looking away from the one who is talking to you. You are not looking away deliberately, but because somebody is signaling to speak to you. Now, what followed is that after that instance, I complained bitterly because I was treated very unfair or unfairly. It led to me suggesting that Parliament had become useless. Because how is Parliament useful to us if we are going to be scolded at like children, if we are going to be, if members on the opposite side will be allowed to bully us, to insult us, and they go scot-free at the hands of the speaker, and when we complain, we become the villains. So I made the statement suggesting that Parliament had become useless, which is a statement that has made the speaker suspend me for 30 days. The other incidents also happened around the same time in July, where when I was debating, as usual, the Mongo MP was being unruly, uttering all manner of statements, disruptive as always. And then I told him to sit down, using a Bemba statement which says, "Yateke punch." Now, you are not Bemba, but I am Bemba. It must be stated on national television now that Parliament, number one, does not prohibit the use of foreign language. That is a rule. Parliament, we have agreed that the mode of communication, the language of communication in Parliament is English. That's agreed. But Parliament does not prohibit the use of other languages, except there's a general rule. When you use any word that is not in English, you are expected to translate it. And so many times it has happened where somebody will use a Bemba adage or any Tonga adage, they are expected to explain it at the insistence of the speaker. The speaker will actually say, meaning you are expected to now translate or explain what that statement means. So in my language, Bemba, the statement "Yateke punch" simply is a colloquial, a Bemba colloquial, which means can you sit down or relax. Whatever you want to do, or whatever whether you like me, IP, or whether you don't like me, Yateke Panshi will never be an insult. It is simply a Bemba colloquial, and I want to appeal to the citizens to adjust or acquaint themselves with some of these adages in the language, because I will not abandon my language because others are not comfortable. If you are not comfortable, if you want me, you need to ask me to explain what Yateke Panshi means.
Did you explain?
In which case,
yeah.
I was not asked to explain. The speaker actually said continue. All right? When I said Yateke Panshi, the speaker said continue, which to me suggested they didn't see any wrong with that. In any case, if it was an offensive statement, they would have asked me to withdraw. Whenever a member of parliament uses any word or statement that is deemed offensive or unparliamentary, they are always asked to withdraw that statement. It is the practice of parliament. Okay? Today, Binwell Mpundu is being suspended for 14 days for a statement that, number one, is not an insult, for a statement that can easily be withdrawn if it injures the etiquettes of parliament. Now, why am I being suspended? Very simple. They are trying to bring Bill 10 or Bill 7 into parliament.
Before we get to the reasons why you are being suspended, let's do these colloquial terminologies, the ways that you used. You've justified that Yateke Panshi is not an insult.
It will never be an insult.
And it will never be an insult.
Never.
You know, I want to believe that the National Assembly is a house of honorable members. That's the reason why you yourself are called honorable members. You heard me when I was introducing you. I said honorable member of parliament. Exactly. So the question is, what legacy, or within your conscience, would you really be proud to call your colleague Yateke Panshi, and you've admitted that this is a colloquial word? It's more like a street word, for example. Maybe it's me now trying to maybe change the translation. It's more like a street word. So a person like you who has been a government official, really, do you think this is something which could be couched as being mature, being Zambian, being patriotic or something?
You are from
or cultural? Yes.
You are from the eastern part of Zambia. Would you be comfortable if we admonished you for using an adage in your language? Would you be okay if we admonished you for using one of your terminologies in your language? That is what you are asking me. You are asking me, or you are telling me I acted unhonorable because I used my own language. That's what you're telling me. I used my own statements or colloquial expression in my language. Are you suggesting that is unhonorable to use my own language? Is it prohibited in parliament to use your own language? No, it's not. You even know, IP, that it is not prohibited for any member. You've heard by UPN said Mashodi, and they use that language. What is Mashodi? Okay? They use that statement a lot of times, and we don't get offended. But I use my statement, my language, which is not prohibited. You want to call me unhonorable.
Would you use that word to
Yes.
Let me put it in this way. Would you use that word to your father?
Listen.
Or your mother?
I cannot tell my father to relax.
Why?
That's my father. Nature dictates that your father, you cannot tell him relax or sit down. How can I tell my father sit down?
And yet in that house where you belong,
that's my colleague.
There are people, yes.
Those are my colleagues.
They are your colleagues, of course.
Now,
they are your fellow members of parliament. But of course, there are individuals like the Minister of Finance. Those are of the age of your father.
Yeah, but
those are your parents.
Even in that house.
So in as much as you were pointing at one person, that word was more like going to all the members of parliament.
By the way, IP, in that house, there are peers, our own peers, who we can relate in any manner And there are those we regard to be order, who we cannot obviously relate for the sake for a similar reason as you are advancing, that they are order.
Yeah.
But Felix Mutati, I cannot tell him yateke panshi, because society as a way of interpreting that you are being disrespectful. But for a gentleman I refer to, is a peer. It is justifiable in all manner to refer to a peer Ichimutwe. I can call you Ichimutu IP and I can walk scot-free with it. It's a normal day response to, provocations.
Let's assume there's your father this side. I mean, we are sitting, then you find IPs here. Who is your peer? Who is your colleague? Then you start insulting IP because is that all?
What is an insult, IP? Can you stop
let me
interchanging words?
Let me remove the word insulting. You tell IP yateke panshi.
Yes.
I want to quote your words. Yateke panshi. End of quote. In the presence of your father.
What is wrong with Yateke panshi?
You can say that.
What is wrong with Yateke panshi?
No, I'm asking you. You can say that.
The problem you are making, IP, is to run with the flow. You have concluded Yateke panshi is an insult.
I'm getting the facts that you've been suspended based on this. You've been found guilty.
That is why.
Hence, you've been suspended.
That is why I am telling you, IP.
Yeah.
You are running with the rest who wants to conclude Yateke panshi is an insult. It will never be an insult until Jesus Christ comes back again. Now, the reason why you are even bringing Pariaba Fiashi, and all that is because you have justified yourself, as many have. You have concluded Yateke panshi is an insult, and so you want us to conclude that you can't use that word in presence of the adults, because in your mind, you have agreed with what the rest of the country or the rest of the people are saying, suggesting that Yateke panshi is an insult. It is comfortably a language we use. Our parents used to use this, Iwe kara Yateke panshi. It is not an insult. In fact, it used to be Teka matako panshi. When your parents or anybody tell you Teka matako panshi, they are telling you sit down or relax. Is it parliamentary? I don't understand why it cannot be parliamentary to tell somebody to relax. Or is it because I've used another language that you want to say it is unparliamentary? Because we must, let's be very realistic here. Okay, let's suppose I told that gentleman, relax or sit down.
That sounds better.
Okay?
Yeah.
But because I used my language, is it my language that you're uncomfortable with? Or it is the actual statement? Because I want to now think that you guys, like many others, are not just comfortable with my language. Is it prohibited to use my language? No. There's only a rule that when I use my language, I must translate it. And what do you do for me to translate it? You must ask me to translate it. I will tell you, IP. There's nothing sinister in that statement. There's nothing strange in that statement. You are simply a society that turns victims into villains. This gentleman has been on our necks. He has antagonized us. That is why, from me telling him to take a panshi, the next was Kapianga calling him Freemason. How is it that coincidentally one person finds himself in crossfire all the times? It's the Mongo MP all the times. Is he admonished? Never. Just last week when we were discussing the borrowing of $5 billion by the UPND, in fact it was when I was proposing that we start managing our own strategic minerals, he stood on the floor and literally insulted me. If you go to the footage, I stood up and asked the speaker that he needed to reprimand this young man or this gentleman. The speaker did not even have the courtesy to even ask him to withdraw the statements he made. Because he actually said, whatever it is that I said, the proposal I made to Parliament was senseless, it was useless. He said all manner of things. When I protested to the speaker did not do anything. So the speaker is in the habit of letting it go when it comes to the UPND guys. But when it comes to us, even if it's not an insult, we are punished. And interestingly punished for 7 days.
Today we did, of course, watch another video after the Member of Parliament for Hakainde Honorable Lucas Mumba, of course, advanced a question as to why some members of parliament from the ruling party have never been suspended, or none of them has been suspended. In a similar manner, you from the left, have been suspended. And a clear answer was given by the presiding officer, and she said it's because they do comply. We tell them with the standing orders, with the rules of the house. We tell them stop speaking, they will comply. Sit down, they will do that. Hence, the opposition, you've been mischievous. It's not the speaker who used that word, it's me now using that word. It appears you from the opposition, you've been mischievous. But bottom line, the speaker seemed to be on firmer ground, or firm terror that the ruling party MPs, or those who are on the right-hand side, they've been complying with the standing orders.
I'm not saying from hearsays. The interesting part today is that parliamentary proceedings are on TV. You do watch these things. You've seen before where members of parliament have risen up to physically manhandle another member of parliament. The case of JJ before, when he was still in parliament. Members of parliament from the UPND stood up to physically go and manhandle him. We wrote complaints. We've written complaints and complaints over all these doings by the UPND. None has ever been reprimanded. So when the speaker says they comply to what? Now, I think that time has come for the Zambian people to begin to ask these hard questions. Are you telling us we are the only ones who are mischievous? Are you telling us we are the only ones who debate from the chairs? Are you telling us? Are you telling me, IP, with all manner and intent, it is justifiable for a member of parliament to be suspended for simply looking away from the speaker? Are you telling me, and justifiably so, 14 days for simply looking away from you? Are you telling me it is justifiable to suspend a member of parliament for 14 days for simply saying yateke punch, which in my language is nothing other than relax? Are you telling me, IP, it is okay to take things on off social media to bring them in parliament? By the way, the rules of parliament are that the speaker will not entertain anything from social media. They actually make it very clear that we can't discuss anything taken from social media. Haven't you heard that?
Yeah.
You've heard, right? Interestingly today, a statement I made outside parliament, which was captured on social media, is taken to parliament, and I'm suspended for 30 days for it. Don't you see that to be strange? In one hand, you say we can't entertain anything that comes out of social media. On another hand, because you are Binwell Mpundu, you entertain something off social media and you suspend him for 30 days. You can't see any pattern that is irregular here? Or we all should fall in this category of citizens who celebrate being kicked whilst we are down? Because we're basically being kicked whilst we are down. We are being turned into villains when we are the victims. You surely can see that something is wrong here, IP. There's serious impartiality or partiality in the manner the speaker is handling the business of the house. There's so much unfairness. We have, to a lot of extent, or let me say to some extent, been chased out of parliament for simply laughing. Honorable Chisopa, 3 weeks ago, was suspended or sent out of the house for simply laughing. The speaker says you are laughing carelessly. Out. I've been reprimanded or scolded at by the speaker for simply laughing. Nisho Deseka, what are you laughing at? But speaker, I was almost saying was speaker in 1 day, but you see, it's because we would otherwise attract more punishment. So, fellow citizens, these are times when we sit down and say, look, before I take turns in casting blame on Binwell, what is really going on? Something must really be going on in that parliament. And it will take the citizens to be asking these very important questions. Why the double standards? Because Parliament does not discuss social media issues. So why are you discussing my statement, which statement I made on social media? Why are you going to discuss that?
I know for sure that there was a time at which you amended the standing orders. Is it?
We didn't amend the standing orders.
Or you never amended the standing orders?
No, it was not us who amended the standing orders. It was Vanedi Muti and team who amended the standing orders.
Right. So I'm right when I say you amended.
We didn't amend.
No, you are trying to exclude yourselves as members of Parliament, right?
That is why you must correct that statement. We did not amend. Vanedi Muti amended the standing orders. In fact, all the members of Parliament, both from the left and right, protested the amending of these standing orders without the consultation of members of Parliament. Had it been a protest from only the opposition, you would have said we are being, as usual, unreasonable. But even the UPND, up to date, we've actually been questioning why we are using standing orders that were designed or coined up by the Speaker alone. The rules of Parliament, in fact, the standing order stems from the Constitution. The Constitution prescribes that Parliament shall put together its own rules, called the standing orders. These standing orders shall be a product of consultations among the members. They shall be subjected to a debate and adoption. This time around, Vanedi Muti adopted standing orders or proposed our own standing orders and imposed them on us. At least I can speak with authority because we all unanimously rejected these standing orders.
So the basis of my question, why I was asking you to enlighten the people of Zambia and myself whether the standing orders were changed or not, because I know that indeed the standing orders have been changed from where we're coming from, and now you are using different standing orders. That's why today you cannot have what you used to call, I hope my memory will remember. Yes, but all in all, in so many scenarios we could hear, I think when your colleague Emmanuel J. Banda was still around, you would sometimes bring stories via social media. I know that this story, not only J. Banda alone, but other members of Parliament, and the Speaker would say you cannot bring anything quoted from social media because we're not a social media, we are an established institution. So bring other evidence to us. So maybe now maybe that's the current booklet of the standing orders, you have these rules which now allows you to quote issues from social media. I mean, we're in a digital world now, so you can't avoid social media. Maybe that's the spirit on which the presiding officers are acting on.
No, we have not changed the rules. Even now, when you take anything off social media, they will curtail you before you even start. So it's a double standard that we've been complaining about, except that we've complained and complained. Nobody else has been willing to listen. If anything, you, the Zambian people, have simply taken turns in whipping us more, even when we complain. These are things we've been talking about. And I'm here saying, look, I don't mind people hating me. I don't mind people insulting me. I have taken so many insults in my 19 years of politicking. I have been in politics for 19 years. I've taken too many insults that now an insult doesn't move me. Except when you find me on another side of the day, I can actually return you the favor. But I'm trying to say that I have taken too many insults that I'm never moved by an insult. But what I'm asking to the people of Zambia, yes, let me say this very open to the people of Zambia. I am available to take responsibility of my shortcomings. When I am wrong, I will say, Njereleni konindu fyanya. And there are so many times when I have not protested, when I am sent out of the house, be it for a day or otherwise, when I know apapena nindu fyanya. But when I'm going to be suspended from the house for simply looking the other way from the speaker, then honestly, mwebana bakwalesa. really nang mwali mpata, you should be able to say awa Binwell naba mufienga. If I'm going to be suspended for 14 days on a statement that can easily be interpreted or otherwise withdrawn, honestly speaking, mweba na bakwale sakuti mwangufila kwa olusi atawa Binwell deserved to be treated better. But that is society, which is why for us we have now adjusted. We live in a society that unfortunately celebrates people's miseries. We are being treated like idiots in parliament. You, the citizens, will celebrate. And in fact, you mock us and turns us into villains. That's what society is, unfortunately, in Zambia. And this is why I have been telling the Zambian people on many forums, look, if the people of Zambia think that we are overdoing it, me as Binwell, I'm overdoing it, please tell me I stop. I have brought very progressive issues in parliament, very progressive issues. Issues that could help this country. As an example, last week, I was proposing that we start managing our own mineral resources. You should have heard the way I was being insulted by the UPND in parliament. Interestingly, 2-3 days later, the president is constituting a team of ministers to do exactly what I proposed in parliament, to start managing our minerals. Why was I being insulted? Because of politics. I have proposed in that parliament, let us help our artists, our talented young men and women, by setting up a film fund that will enable, artists or movie producers, movie actors, script writers to produce movies of international standard. It will give way to revamping our tourism sector and the like. It will earn revenue for government. Beautiful proposition. What do I get? A rejection from the UPND, even when not long ago the UPND enacted what is called the film policy, in which policy there's a provision that we must set up a film fund. All these are things that could have helped this country. So, if it is okay for the Zambian people that we are overdoing it, we can stop. After all, do you know how costly it is to do what I've been doing right now, to hold this government to account? Right now, there's a rope on my neck. I've got flimsy charges. I've been paraded before the courts for statements that even HH used to make. Even Westmore. Defend yourselves with equal measure. In fact, HH used to say, attack them even 10 times. HH used to say, when they come with pangas, other UPND, but PF, also pick pangas and defend yourselves. But I've been dragged before court for making similar statements, defend yourselves. If they are using guns, also acquire guns. Is owning a gun a crime? No.
So I'll allow you to go and deal with that matter in court.
Yeah,
of
so
course,
we will not go there because otherwise.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is that if it is too much that we must continue doing these things or holding this government to account, just last week, I raised the matter of the non-payment of farmers. Farmers were complaining. They called me from all over the country. I presented that matter. Just this week, government announced that they have borrowed to pay the farmers 5 billion kwacha. Oh, by the way, this is a borrowing government of Kalova, because if you are not aware, they are borrowing $5.3 billion for the year 2023. PF borrowed for 10 years $12 billion. Ababa UPND managed to borrow $5.3 billion in 1 year. Because they used to say they will not borrow. They are borrowing that much in 1 fiscal year. This is a government of Kalova. Now, when we demand for answers, as an example, why would you give targets to a company that has not completed the job? If that is too much to be asking, if those hard questions I have been asking as Binwell Mpundu is too much for the Zambian people, I would be comfortable. You know I've got a family, eh? I can spare my family from all this drama. that is what you want, I can stop. No mutima waikala. But you see, this country is worth fighting for. These bullies in government, they need people to stand up against them. This country has been destroyed. IP. This country is crumbling down before our eyes.
Are you insinuating that we've got bullies in government?
Yes. The UPND are simply bullies. The UPND are nothing but simply bullies who can't deliver, and they resort to intimidating people. Right now, they are sending their cadres to be abducting people and torturing people who have dissenting views. Right now, anyone who has dissenting views must be taken to jail. Chitotera is in jail for having not committed a crime. You are aware, you are journalists.
Who has been abducted in this country?
Black Apple was abducted in full view of mourners at a funeral. Are you not aware, sir? They even recorded the video of Black Apple being tortured and being told to denounce PF and join UPND. He's not the only one who has been abducted. JJ was abducted. Judge Muma was abducted and thrown into Zambezi River. Are you not aware of those stories? It is only in this government where rampant cases of abductions are being recorded. And it is okay for this country. And when we ask those things, maybe it's too much. Maybe we must stop asking these questions. But I will tell you, one day, these voices won't be there. My voice won't be there. And you will miss these voices. Because these bullies need somebody to be reminding them. How are you paying the hour? Okay, they need to be reminded them, go back, imolekeni kalobe, imolekeni nkongoleshi, imolekeni bukabola alu wakupera matogetu, umuntu ushira puishe nchito. How can you give that? How can you even do that? Can you stop recruiting people or appointing people based on political affiliation or tribal inclination? Can you stop? Because by the way, IP, these are conversations that we have been ignoring. There is a lot of tribalism in this country today. But tribalism is a subject that very few citizens are prepared to have. Because in Zambia, when you bring the subject of tribalism on the table, they say you are tribal. And so they will we sweep these conversations under the table. Not me.
How do you justify really the tribalism you're talking about? I insist to ask you this question because you are a prominent person or leader in this country. So any statement you make has got a very huge effect on the Zambians out there. And you cannot come on my show and fail to justify this question. I think it will be a bit unfair to my viewers and my interview as well.
IP, unless you choose to be economic with the truth, it will not take you a second or a minute to understand that appointments now are on regional basis or tribal basis. Promotions now are on regional basis and tribal basis. It will not take you so much trouble, but to just look at the list of all those who have been appointed in all these prominent positions to understand the pattern. Here, I am not insinuating that people of this region are the ones who are being appointed. Rest, I am told to be hate speeching. I am saying it won't take you so much, but to just look at all those lists and you will know that there is a problem. Now, we have pretended for too long in this country around the issue of tribalism and regionalism. Starting from the KK, he failed to handle the issue of tribalism. The MMD government failed to handle. The PF government failed to handle. The UPND government are failing and have failed to handle the tribalism. The reason is very simple. We have failed to have a truth and reconciliation around this matter. This is what leadership requires. Leadership requires that if there is a problem, let us have an honest conversation around it. You like it or not, there is a lot of regionalism and tribalism happening right now. Unless you choose to pretend. Am I insinuating that there is a particular region being favored? No, I am not. So anyone who would want to say hate speech, mwailasha, I am not naming any region, but I am saying there is regionalism and tribalism going on right now, and it will not take you the trouble or so much trouble. Just ask around. They will tell you, or look around, or the manner of appointments. You will see the pattern.
Let's talk about your prominence in the political landscape ahead of the elections next year as Binwell Mpundu. You've branded yourself, as one of the prominent leaders going to next year. You are leading a movement, Good Governance, of course, which is well known as the Hichilema'S movement. What is it all about, and what are you trying to couch?
Hichilema'S is simply about a national renewal. Insanity, they say, is trying the same thing over and over again, and yet you expect different results. We are an insane country because we keep pushing the same buttons. We have failed systems that we keep flogging every year in, every year out. These governance systems have failed, and they are susceptible to manipulation. That's why today you can have the Electoral Commission of Zambia who can manipulate electoral rules with impunity. That's why today you can have the Registrar of Society who can refuse to register any political entity with impunity. The systems are broken. The Hichilema'S, the movement for good governance, is about resetting the country, adopting new processes or governance systems, adopting new sets of leaders. Some of the leaders you have today, IP, have been there since UNIP days. They crossed from UNIP, went into MMD. They crossed from MMD, they went into PF. From PF, they are now in UPND. How special are you, IP, that you should be in all the governments? We have tried the same politicians over and over again, and you are asking, what is wrong with Zambia? What is wrong with Zambia is that you are using the same systems that have failed you, and yet you expect different results. You are using the same players who have failed to play the game. Interestingly, President HH used to say he's going to appoint a Champions League team. This team, this cannot even play in a provincial league. This is the worst team we have today, which cannot even deliver. They are inept, they are incompetent. So, what we are saying under the Hichilema'S is that time has come to prop up a new set of leaders. We want UIP who are alive to the opportunities and the challenges of today. There's a huge difference between an old leader and a new mind. I can give an example. Yep. President HH was telling the young people, you are wasting your lives on social media. And what did he do? He decided to go and enact cyber laws. Very archaic, repressive cyber laws to ensure that young people are closed off from social media. Me, as a new version of leadership, I went to Parliament and told my colleagues, let us incentivize social media. Let us monetize social media. Because social media now is life. Through social media monetization, young people can survive even without jobs. That's the difference. So what Zambia needs is fresh minds. So the movement for good governance is that political grouping that is envisioning to prop up new minds, new people, a fresh perspective to governance. We believe that time has come for us to have a national renewal or the resetting of the governance, system altogether.
Is the Hichilema'S movement for good governance, registered already?
So, Hichilema'S as it stands, by the way, Hichilema'S is a political movement called the Movement for Good Governance, MGG. Now, because our aspirations is to ensure that we prop up young people into governance. Young people who have been marginalized. Young people who have been used as pawns in the tools of politics. Young people who have been sent to go and fight others. Our idea is let's bring up all these young people so that they can then sit on the table of decision making. Now, because we are targeting these young people, we coined up a slogan which we are referring to as Hichilema'S. Now, we call it Hichilema'S if you are familiar with the Bemba language, but you can call it Sabanana if you are familiar with the Lozi language or the language from the West. You can call it like these, Dao people from the East. you can call it Chabafana. Where do you come from, IP?
Proceed.
Oh, yeah. You can call it Chabafana. You can call it Sabanana if you come from the south, or you can call it Kiabanike if you come from, you know, the northwestern province. The idea is we are making this movement relatable to anybody, including those who cannot pronounce the movement for good governance. Now, our idea is that we want in the next election to sponsor young people at all levels of participation in the next election. We will sponsor young people at ward level, councillor level. We will sponsor young people at parliamentary, mayoral, and we will sponsor a young presidential candidate. Now, for now, we exist as a social movement.
Right.
And what the decision we are going to make is whether these, our aspirants, are going to be sponsored to run as independents, or they will run using a political outfit.
Right.
That decision, we are making it, and we are going to announce by January. But I must announce to the public that we are ready for both. Whether we decide that we go with a political party, we are ready for that.
And
whether we go as independents, we are ready for
that. And it could be any other political party.
Don't worry about it, but just know that there's a political party that will sponsor these young people, or carry these, you know, young people, if that's a decision we are going to make. For now, our preoccupation is we've gone out to spread the message, encourage young people to register as voters, and those who believe that they are agents of change must jump onto this vehicle, the movement for good governance. You know, because of technology now, you can simply go on a platform and say www.ichabaiche.com and register as a member. You even have a membership card.
Right.
Today, we can communicate all over the country because we now have got establishment of Hichilema'S all around the country, but we still have a lot of work to do, which is why I am inviting progressive Zambians. This is a must-do for Zambia if you want to liberate yourselves. Because, trust me, IP, we've gone back to the days of enslavement. These UPND have enslaved us. Today, you can't even speak. They'll catch you offside under cyber laws. So, the desire of this movement is that time has come for us, number one, to own this country. The citizens must be allowed to own this country. The citizens of Zambia must be allowed to own the land. The citizens of Zambia must be allowed to own our resources.
But have you attempted to register or make this movement legal using the very particular
There is
name?
no need to register this movement. This movement was designed to operate as a social grouping.
Right.
But do we have a political outfit? It is there.
Right.
Sir.
Which one is that?
No, that is a decision we are going to announce later.
Right.
You
talked about social media and how you strongly feel that social media could create employment to many of the youths who are, of course, active on social media. The government, of course, has also thought in those lines that instead of just allowing these social media content creators on social media, we can also maybe try to organize them so that it can be operating in a very organized manner. Hence, they must be able to affiliate themselves with some legal, entities. What is your take on
this? Government is very deceptive. You cannot go and milk a dead cow, or you cannot expect to continue milking a cow that you have not been feeding. The ideal situation would have been, let us monetize social media. We create, by the way, let me take this opportunity to clarify what social media monetization means. The media companies, or the companies that manages these social media platforms, Meta, that manages Facebook and others, are responsible for giving you the right to monetize social media. But it is the government that engages these social platforms to have that incentive called the social media monetization. When I went to Parliament and proposed this motion that we monetize social media, and this motion was agreed by all the MPs in Parliament, the next step is that the government must now take the necessary step of engagement to have this incentive available in Zambia. Now, when you monetize social media, you have that instrument or incentive called social media monetization. Then your people will start earning money. Of all the contents they create on social media, they'll be getting paid. That is when government should now say, can you formalize yourself with Zambia Institute of Management, and can you now start paying tax? You cannot work in reverse. You can't start charging tax on people that you have not facilitated for to be earning money. That's absurd. That's how deceptive this government or disorganized this government is. In fact, I call them the Chimbwino plans. You can't work in reverse. You must start a process. Binwell has brought a motion. It has been agreed. Now, can you take the next step so that Zambia is incentivized, is monetized? Zimbabwe is monetized. South Africa is monetized. Tanzania is monetized. What is wrong with Zambia being monetized? It is because you have a government that feels social media is evil. You have a government that does not want young people to enjoy social media because they think young people are becoming powerful. Oh, by the way, young people are able to earn wealth or create wealth through social media. Did you watch the match between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, that boxing match? What do you think that was? That was nothing to do with boxing. That was social media content creation, and they were paid millions of dollars just off that activity. That is what social media monetization does. This we are doing here is a content we are creating. It will attract views, it will attract reaction, and you and I can be paid off this content we are creating. That is what social media monetization does. Does government lose anything? No. In fact, government stands to benefit, because then you can go to Binwell and say, you've made money, you are going to pay tax on this. That is the issue here.
Let's pick up our course. Honorable Mpundu. We'll hear from the viewers, and later on we close the program. Caller, good evening and welcome to the program. Hello, caller, good evening and welcome to the program.
You are currently on hold.
Please, you can call me back. The number is right on your screens. Ensure that you reduce the volume on your TV screens to avoid that feedback in the studio. I have Nkana Member of Parliament, Honorable Mpundu, who is also leader of the Movement for Good Governance, well known as Hichilema'S. Caller, good evening and welcome to the program. Hello, caller, good evening. Caller, are you there? All right, can you call me back? The number is right on your screens. I have Honorable Mpundu, Member of Parliament for Nkana constituency. Caller, good evening and welcome to the bigger program. Right, I don't know what's going on there, but keep on trying. Keep on trying. Caller, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening and welcome to the bigger program.
Good evening. This is Kumwenda King.
Mr. Kumwenda King, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Kafiwe.
Go ahead, you've got a minute, Mr. King.
What I have is that I've been following Binwell Mpundu for a long time right now. And truly, he is the future for Zambia. Truly speaking, he is the future for Zambia. And I believe having people like him, Zambia will go forward, like seriously. Sorry for using the motto for UPND, but Zambia will go forward. Him being the leader, like seriously. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. King. We appreciate you and your contribution. You can call me. The number is right on your screens. Caller, good evening and welcome to the program. Hello, caller, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. And how are you?
Kasonde calling from Lusaka.
Go ahead, Mr. Kasonde. You've got a minute.
Kasonde Joseph. Junior Sata Mlishani.
Bueno, ba Joseph Mlishani.
We have been waiting for a president that will take this country forward. And God has blessed us with you. We are so happy to have you. And just to to let you know that we are behind you. Aba youth won't say Murusaka Muno. We'll make sure that we vote for you. There is no need even to beat by the bush. You are the next president of this country. Thank you very much. May you go ahead and may God bless you. And the Romaland Parliament, you take in Ambimolu before to Ashibat Mormaland. Yeah, have a blessed night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you. All right, you can call me. The number is right on your screens. I have leader of Hichilema'S movement, who is also Ghana member of Parliament, Honorable Mpundu. Caller, good evening and welcome to the program. Hello, caller, good evening and welcome to the program. All right, please ensure that you reduce the volume on the TV screens to avoid feedback once you call me. Caller, good evening and welcome to the program. All right, you can call me back. The number is right on your screens. This is the bigger program with Honorable Binwell Mpundu. Caller, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Bawombashani Mkwayi.
Hey, Mkwayi, ni mwe wanani?
Inevo Joseph kuno kukitwe kukwacha.
Go ahead, Joseph. You've got 1 minute.
Our incoming president. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Joseph. Thank you so much. How are you, my brother?
I'm very blessed. I'm so happy to have heard what you've been saying.
Thank you.
You are a very sober character. We love you here in Kitwe.
Thank you.
And our prayer is that God will keep you out of prison, because the way you are speaking, you are a threat to not only these guys who are trying to gag every mouth that is speaking for the people who are voiceless like us. We know that they've got evil plans, but we are praying for you, sir, that God will preserve you.
Thank you.
And a lot of youths, we are looking up to you, your courage. And because they want to praise everything, but we love you. I want to encourage you to be strong, and we are praying for your family. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I'll pick up 4 more calls and then allow my guest to give a response. Caller, good evening and welcome to the program.
Okay, so good evening.
Good evening to you. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Moses, I'm calling you from within
I'm Kwaiba Moses Mulibwanji.
I think Jaminga Kustenko encourages out. I think if you should do at least my conversation my youth, but if you are poor food carry, you must show us to say, I think you are worthy to be a leader. So what am I saying? You must have a conduct which is both for the young people and also for the old people. I think it's important because what you should know is that the young people alone cannot make you to win. So even the UPND, they were losing for 23 years. The moment that they reached out to the other parts of the country, that's how they came to win. So in conclusion, I know, for me, I've been following Parliament for a long time, and I think that somehow the speaker shouldn't just, cane you, but even those that are provoking you. You cannot have a situation whereby you are debating as the opposition member of Parliament. Then there are some people also from the ruling who are making fun of you. You are a human being. You can react. We had the Matirini, we had the Manamwamba, and we saw how they were conducting the business of this. So we are appealing to the Madam Speaker. Don't just blame Mpundu, but I think even in that audio, I think you were reacting to something. It is very clear. Because like someone provoked you. So when you are talking, you can be a very good member of Parliament or president, but maybe on the language, so it's important that mwantakambira ife bakulu yateke pashi but munga ili ngati wanakwasa in conclusion understanding kale kuti mwasenzerako sabe paka language so that tonse ziku supportani, otherwise waspeaker now yolangana one side sikondwera nayo ijagaili abali muja not just for UPND but for the whole country. God bless you.
Zikoma Moses.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate you. I think we end there. Honorable Mpundu, you can just give a reaction to the cause that
IP. I'm very grateful for the sentiments from Kings of Kafue. He says, I'm the future. I'm not just the future alone. King, me, and many young people needs to work together. I belong to both worlds. I belong to the old and the young because I'm in between, 43. Okay? I'm in between and I have seen it with the old and I know what the young people are going through and their expectations and their anxieties and apprehensions. So I think that I do have what it means to represent the entire country. In the entire country, I mean Abakalamba, Nabaiche, because I have walked this journey. Oh, by the way, IP, you know how much experience I have gained over the years.
Tell me.
Imagine I have been in politics for 19 years. In that 19 years, I have been a leader, a very senior leader in a political grouping called PF. I was provincial secretary of the Copper Belt. You know Copper Belt rules, you know, in terms of politics, eh? I was district commissioner, not of a small city. I was a governor of the great city of Kitwe. Okay? It is not easy. When you are DC for Kitwe, you can run anywhere. You can manage any district, let alone any province. Why not a country? Today, IP, I am in that parliament. I come to the table with immense experience. And oftentimes the things I speak about are realities. Just last week, you know, there was a video I was playing, or I was posting, a video or a conversation or a debate I had 3 years ago, where I predicted that there's going to be a crisis one day where we get our fuel from. And it came to pass that we had trouble in Tanzania, and it affected the flow of our fuel tankers. And you know what has been happening now? We have a crisis of fuel in terms of availability today. These are things that I have seen or I'm able to tell because of the experience I've had. I'm different from these leaders you just elected without having an iota of experience at governance. So, Kings, thank you so much. Kasonde J says they are blessed, the young people of Lusaka. I know it's not all the young people of Lusaka who may support me, but the very few who are supporting me are enough. Okay? Am I going to plead for people? You know, I come from a place where we don't plead or beg for people. But I think that the message we are spreading to the young people is that your moment is now. If the young people of Zambia are going to miss this moment, remember, political power is never given that easily. If they are young people who are being hoodwinked to think that political power is going to be handed over to them in the name of a constitutional amendment. Those 12 youths they are proposing by UPND in the constitution, the bogus Bill 7, who will not be any of these youths like you and me, IP. It will be their own children in their homes. We have seen it. Tell me how many ordinary Zambians have been sent into the foreign service, young people in that regard. It is only their children. I heard one provincial chairman of the UPNG saying, my daughter is in the foreign service. I didn't know she had even gone to the foreign service. Come on, you understand? So the chance for young people to sit on the table of decision making is now. And I'm here as a messenger. I don't miss my word. I speak from experience that if the young people miss this opportunity, they will never have that chance. It is the reason why some of us, me, JJ, Muni, and others, decided to go independent, because time will not wait for you. And the young people of Zambia, you must know that time will not wait for you. The moment to jump onto this movement is now. But Joseph of Kito of Kwacha says, we love you, we are praying to God because we can see that the system is trying to send you to jail. Let me say this, IP. Jail was meant for people. The people that fought for the independence of this country, some died. But it took some sacrifices. Some of us have staked our necks. Be it that we are killed today, be it that we are taken to jail, it will be worth it. Because this country and the people of Zambia are worth fighting for. I know there are machinations around harming me physically and around imprisoning me. I know there are secret meetings being held where they are saying, what is happening? You know? I know that's what they're planning. Am I scared? No. Is it worth it? Yes, it is. Don't I need to safeguard myself and my family? I do. But who is going to stand in for the country if I am a coward? Imagine if our forefathers were cowards. Where would we be today? We'll still be under colonial rule. So please, Joseph, continue to pray for me. But don't pray for me more. Continue to pray for my family. Because me, I am ready. Me, I am ready to be persecuted. Am I being persecuted for committing wrongs? Or am I being dragged to court for committing wrongs? Certainly not. I think you, the Zambian, knows what is happening. Does that bother me? No. If the Son of Man would be killed, who am I? So be it. Ba Moses abakalamba, balando kutila, ba Binwell, ilimulera ndanaba iche, na ifobe nemule tubikamo. And more so, he says, the speaker must be at least a fair. But also, he says, na imobe nema Binwell ka language mule chita moderate. But Moses, I want to promise you, because you have said we need to moderate our language, I will avoid certain statements that would be labeled insulting. I want to promise on this public national broadcast or public platform that if statements that are said in my language and I believe they are not insulting would be labeled insulting by other people, I promise you I will desist from using such statements. But I want you to know there are certain words I have used with conviction that they do not mean insults. But because you have complained that the language sometimes is over the board, I will endeavor to ensure that I moderate my reaction to provocation. But you must know, IP. We are treated like second-class citizens by the UPND in Parliament and outside. Are we protected? No. In fact, we are even whipped more for even complaining. We are suspended for doing nothing. Sadly, we on the opposition are being taken to jail even for not committing a crime. Muni as an example. Mwebe na Zambia. Muni azulu ba mtuala kujere. Ukwa block pangomland. You know of immunities. Members of parliament are under immunities for any statements they make, provided those statements are made in what they call the precincts of parliament. The precinct of parliament includes the main parliamentary building, Muchemba, and in the perimeter, including Nakuloko Tulala Kuma Motel. Munia Zulu and Mujere for a statement he made within the precincts. We took the magistrate to parliament so that he can go and see where Munia made a statement. But he went ahead and handed the sentence to Munia Zulu. Bowman today has been jailed for going to the market to buy things for the family. The UPND today are in full-fledged campaign mode. Nobody is antagonizing them. These are people who said the rule of law. But we've created two sets of laws now. One that applies to the UPND and one that applies to the rest of us. The UPND will insult you. They walk scot-free. anyone who insults is picked and persecuted. That is not the Zambia we need. The Zambia we need is where all of us are treated equal, not the animal farm situation where some animals are more equal than others.
At least you've assured the Zambian people and Mr. Moses, who expressed concern over your language in Parliament, and at least you've made that assurance that you are going to moderate yourself in the language. And I'll ask you this question. Do you now regret having, issued or uttered such kind of words?
No, sir. No, sir. I don't regret ever saying I take a punch. I will never regret it. I don't regret calling somebody Chimutwe, and I will never regret it. But is there room for us to adjust? And that's the commitment I've made. We can adjust, and I can only adjust because it is not sitting well with some people like Abafiashweswa Moses. That is not the only way. Otherwise, these statements are made with conviction. Okay? Because by IP, you also joke about this. These are normal day-to-day conversations.
Do you plan to contest as president next year?
Yes, I do.
Right.
Dear citizens of Zambia, I have come 19 years learning leadership. I have amassed so much experience, even though I'm still learning the trade. I think that as you consider the people to manage the affairs of this country, I think Zambia needs a resetting. Zambia needs a mindset that is alive to the times we are in, a technology era where technology rules. If I demonstrated my passion for the country, I think I have. I have been exemplary in my quest for a better Zambia. I have pushed for proposals that would have otherwise helped this country rise from its challenges. A number of motions that I've pushed to Parliament were all meant to help better the lives of Zambians. I bleed to see the Zambians being overburdened by tax, because this country only knows taxing people. They have nowhere else to get revenues to finance their activities. That is why they keep borrowing every single day. I have made proposals that we start managing our mineral resources, the strategic minerals. It's because I would want this country to rise above its economic challenges. Is there room for improvement in our leadership? Yes, there is. And for me, I stand ready to learn from the adults or the old people, to learn from the younger people. After all, Emmanuel Afumamwifwe, Sayana, Namuchulu, are we ready to collaborate with others as a movement? Yes, we are. There's been a constant call from the general public that the opposition must unite. We as a movement, we are ready to collaborate with all those whose agenda means well for the country. All those whose agenda has got recognition of the marginalized Zambians, the youth, the women, and the disabled. So we stand ready to collaborate with all those. Should it just be Binwell Mpundu? No. It should be about the people, the person, the Zambian people who believe is capable of taking us, forward. Should that time come, we are prepared to rally behind that person and support that person.
Right. Will you support the ongoing constitutional amendment process?
Never. I swore to uphold the Constitution and defend, protect the Constitution. That bogus Bill 7 is unconstitutional. And the president risks being in trouble one day for embarking on a very unconstitutional undertaking. Bill 7 is still on the floor of the House. When the Constitutional Court ruled that this process was unconstitutional, government needed to have withdrawn it. Well, they have come under deception that they are starting this process afresh to consult people. What is happening in all those provincial assemblies is nothing to do with consultation. It's basically dressing up Bill 7, because the terms of reference that has been given to the technical committee is nothing other than to go and legitimize what is already contained in Bill 7. In any case, why are we still talking about Bill 7 if Bill 7 has already been declared unconstitutional? What I thought would have been is, let us come up with a different bill and call it a different name. But we're still discussing a Bill 7 which we are told has been withdrawn or deferred. And why would you defer a bill if you believe you did not do the right thing? Why not withdraw it and start afresh? That is why I cannot support anything that is unconstitutional. That thing called Bill 7 has been rejected by the cross-section of society. All major stakeholders are saying no. The Law Association of Zambia, major church bodies, some